All right. Hey, everybody. We are back here for what's hopefully going to be the first of several videos that are going to be class-based on how I box the particular character. So a little more specifics on the actual spells and abilities and things like that I keep in my spam bars here for the individual classes. So hopefully get a bunch of classes in, not everything, just the ones that I feel pretty comfortable with, and get some more discussion going, because there is definitely a big gap on just good discussion for how to best utilize these with an ISBoxer. There's tons of guides out there, like level 125, class or whatever guide, and those don't always translate one-to-one for how you would want to play that with an ISBoxer and how you would want to set up spam and keys and things like that. So I think getting some of this discussion going would be good. A huge shout out to X-Kraken. Someone met here after posting some of the first videos. We've done a lot of talking and we've done a lot of sharing, helping fine-tune this, and I know it's made things better for tunes here. So hopefully we can continue this on and get some more discussion going. So I'm going to start with my Beastlord here, because this was one of the ones that me and X-Kraken were talking a bunch about, and got up and shared some videos, shared some screens, and kind of seeing like how we were doing, how we can best utilize it, because they're definitely on the unique side where they've got abilities and spells along with pets, so how you best utilize this. And I should say, like, no matter what, if it's a tune that's boxed outside of like your main window, you're never going to get to the 100% of the DPS as you would as a main tune. But I think there's a lot left off the table. I know I'm still leaving stuff off the table, so hopefully people come out here with some good ideas. But there's stuff that you could do better just to get better at it. Because again, if you just try to copy paste exactly what you see on a forum for just a normal guide, it's not going to work as well with an ISBoxer. Potentially, it could be like almost crippling depending on like what kind of spells and the layout and order of those and such. So with all that talking, what I'll do is I'll kind of just go over like my main spam bar here and what's in there. I unlocked it, I blew it up a little bit, so hopefully it's a little bit easier to read. But I start off with the four main ones that are just like the really quick recasting ones that are like hits with a couple rounds of such and such damage and things like that. So first one there, the Barrage of Claws. One thing to note about this one is it does do AE damage, 3 targets in front of you. But it doesn't use that much endurance. It's on a really quick recast, so it adds a lot of just good raw DPS. But I do keep it at the very top there, so I always know where it's at. And if I need to, like if I'm in a fight where I don't want to AE, I could easily pull that off so that it's no longer in that spam there, and then grab it, put it back on. Fierceness is another one that just adds some nice increase to damage for a short period. Wallop, very similar to Barrage, just not AE, does a couple of hits. And then Chameleon Strike, one little nuance here. So Chameleon Strike and then Roaring Strike are two ones that share a timer that just do a nice big hit of damage on a 20-second recast here. Chameleon Strike will lower your hate. Roaring Strike will increase your hate. So you only can have one or the other. So I keep Chameleon Strike in there because he's always boxing. But if it's down here and I need to go to a situation quickly, or hey, I want to start pulling some aggro, bam, I could pop that off and then switch it back when I need to. As Beastlords actually can do some decent tanking. We've got a lot of good disciplines for some short period of time just to kind of step in while main tank's getting rezzed up and things like that. They can pull some aggro and hold it and take a bit of a beating, so it's always there. So those four are those main damage ones here. And then the next 3 that I've got in there are ones where it can get a little bit, where it varies off of what you might typically see for 125 guides. So Spire, the Enduring Frenzy, and the Roar of Thunder are ones that are on like 5 to 8 or 9 minute recast there. Those are ones that in a normal situation, if this was your main, you would probably not, you wouldn't want these on your spam. These are going to be ones that are going to be controlling a little bit more manual, to keep and maintain like a longer burn period, not just all pop it off at the same time. But for the purpose of boxing, it's just easier just to have them all in spam bar. So at any time that they need to be refreshed, they refresh themselves just off that spam. And what is this? 7.5 minutes, 5 minutes, and this is 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. So over a long period or just, grinding some trash and pulling nonstop, they kind of do just stagger themselves. So you kind of just keep one up. So it kind of keeps some general better DPS. So it works pretty well here. And I found doing that just kind of helped increase my overall DPS. Whereas to otherwise utilize it, you would have to either set up entirely dedicated hotkeys to it, or just tab over and hit, tab back, like utilizing Gina triggers. And I don't always like Gina just yelling at me nonstop. So I found that worked out for me really, really well, just to, again, not be the best, but a good amount for a simple and least amount of clicks. The spells that I've got in here. So direct damage, again, because you don't want dots in here, because at least with the Beastlord, the dots are all instant casting and no cooldowns on them. So if I had a dot in here, it would just constantly cast that over and over and over again, and it would never do anything else. It would essentially just kind of stop and just redo that over and over again. So what you got in here is the... I just unmemmed it. Need that mem back up. So... the Maelstrom, which is the nice one that pops off a couple of the good direct damage ones here. And then the Lance as the other one, just like straight direct damage here. The two ice ones that hit pretty good and hard, and constantly want them spammed off there. The next one here is the progressive spell. And a really nice tip out there that I got from the Beastlord Discord is going with the low-level progressive spell. So with each increase in this, this would have been what? There was like 106, 111. Like there's been several of them all the way up to just the most recent one, just from the other week, 121. You get a big boost in hit points and mana and endurance with all of those. However, from a DPS standpoint, the mitigation and weapon speed increases and the flurry increases is very, 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 very minimal. But this one here uses significantly less mana. So ultimately, if you went with like the level 121 one, you're going to lose DPS in this normal grinding situation from a box standpoint, especially because it's just going to run you out of mana, and then you're not going to be getting any DPS. You're not going to be getting any spell hits because you're just going to be out of mana, and then like it's just it's a big pain in the butt. So talking around and asking around some, I figured like this is the tip. Go with the lower level progressive. If you were raid geared, you could probably pop up to like maybe like a 111 version or 116. This tune is just mostly group geared, except for a couple raid weapons. That's about it. So I go with the lower level one here. And what this will do is it'll still give you a really nice boost in DPS without draining your mana in the span of a couple of minutes. So really nice little tip there if you guys aren't aware of that. And then I've got in there the malt one here, the single malts. So this is just the summon the swarm pet. So I will every so often, like if I'm playing with a magician and I want those swarm pets out like as fast as possible, I will pop this in first above like those and just kind of rearrange it. So it's just always hitting that first. But from a group standpoint, it's really not going to make too much of a difference. It's going to keep them out there nonstop because the recasts on those are long there. So it's always going to be refreshing that. So that's why I've kind of got that there. But you can switch that around if you do play with the magicians who have the many line spell where it does a nice huge boost the more swarm pets are out. And then I just have the epic click down there. And if you guys aren't aware, make sure the epic click is always the last button in the hotbar. There is just the way the hotbars work. If this is early, whenever it's on a cooldown, it will never click anything after it. So any items always have to be at the end. Unless you want to, you can. I'm just kind of lazy. You can create a social macro in there, the use item, and that won't do it. But I'm just lazy and don't feel like typing that out, so I just got that in there. So that's the main spam bar there. And then I've also got an addition because with the newest expansion, they added the reflexive slash here. I added that in there. It's a bit longer, 10 minutes on the cooldown, so I just added it to the number 2 on the main bar there. So it's in the similar line as like the Savage, Enduring, and Roar ones. You're probably better off having that in a... just something you would manually click, or like a normal born rotation as like a main Beastlord, but as a box tune, it's in there so that just every 10 minutes, it just pops that off and just gives a nice good endurance boost to the group. Next one that I've recently added in is I set up a hotbar. Here was this hotbar 8. I'll open this up so we could take a look here a little more specifically. So hotbar 8 I've got set up to the number pad. And how you could do that is, so just by default on original install, it's only going to broadcast the 1 through the plus sign there. So you could set up hotkeys to the 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., down to the minus and equal signs there. And it will always spam those off. But I set up an additional one for the number pad, which is, it's pretty easy once you get into it. It's just wizard, mapped key wizard. You want to go to the, not always on, but your base hotkeys would be the best one. If you were to select always on, even when you toggle this off, it would always be on. So you want to be wary of that. But base hotkeys, click next. So we just want straight key broadcast. We don't want any of these other things here. Nothing for wow macros or anything like that. So just straight key broadcast. And then from here, it's just as simple as what keys do you want. So I want to set up one for Q, W, E, R, T, whatever it is. We'll just go do full QWERTY here. And then click Finish. And then you will have to close down EverQuest and reopen everything. But when you do that, these keys will broadcast just the same as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., etc. So real simple there. Just wizard, mapped keys, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Walks you through it. So I set that up, and I've got set up on most of the tunes a hotbar where it is set up for just the numpad. So numpad 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are all set up there. And then the hot buttons 10, 11, 12 are also set up to 9. So I've got kind of like just another mini span where I can set up 4 different things to that number 9 that I utilize for AE stuff here. So you'll kind of see here in a second here. So, but what this does is it allows me to set up a hotkey that will spam that one thing, one ability across all tunes. So I utilize that for dots. I kind of started setting this up, playing with a shaman a little bit more, trying to get a little bit more effective and trying to see how to be better with dots. And this does a pretty decent job. Again, nowhere near what you'll be able to is if it's just your main. But so I've got set up there, the 3 good dots here is the blood one, the shadow one, or the chill, and then which one is this, the endemic one here. So while I'm fighting stuff, I could just be spamming 2, and then break for a second and hit 1, spamming 2, break for a second, hit 2, spamming 2, then hit 3. You do kind of got to watch if this is, like, say you're in your main character here, depending on, like, your window size and layout. Like, it's not always easy to see, but, like, he may still be casting, like, his lance here, and I'm trying to hit 1, and obviously it's not casting it because the spell is still cooling down from that, so I found that I've gotten pretty good at timing, but it's kind of just watching, like, as soon as you see the buttons refresh, tap the 1 real quick. Since dots are instant casting, like, you can cast it and get, like, right back into anything else. But then, just to help illustrate here, so the 9 here, I have that Barrage of Claws on here because it's really the only, like, AE ability that he's got there. So it's on that 9, but, like, my Berserker, that's got a bunch of stuff there. Ranger's got some AE spells that I'll have, like, lined up to that. So when I hit 9, like, it gets everybody doing some AE stuff there if I want to take down a big group of mobs there. From a burn perspective, I really won't get too much into this just because I want to try to keep these videos short as possible, and we're already probably coming up over 10 minutes. So burn-wise, just find that good big stuff there. This is stuff that, like, I basically still took this 1 for 1, so I know there's some good opportunity to improve there. But I do got that set up so that it just basically pops everything off at once. It's not very good, again, for sustained DPS, but when you got a name that's only going to last a minute anyways, like, you don't need to be worrying about maintaining it for 10, 15 minutes. And even in TOB, like the Magician, the missions in, like, you don't even want to do that, even though they could be, like, you're fighting a dragon for 10 minutes, but because you need to control DPS in a lot of situations, it's not quite effective. So it still works pretty well for that oh crap moment when a whole bunch are up and we just want to burn through them. So in addition to, so the spams, the burns, my number 3 button, which is like my start a fight button, which I've got over here in my main tank. I just kind of have the start there. That's my legend there. So what I've got there in this hotbar here lined up to there. So I've got the kind of like the buffs ones and things like that. So Taste of Blood. is a good one that gives a good buff to your pet. But you only need to click it once and it'll last for a minute. But it's on like basically a completely zero refresh time. So you can just click it over and over again. So if you were to put this on your spam, like it would just eat up endurance and just constantly be going over and over. It's just taking up useless space when you only need to click it once every minute, which is essentially once every fight. And then I've got on there Shay's Reprisal or Shah's Reprisal, which is the slow. So at the start of the fight, I hit 3. It pops off. Let me target a dummy here. It pops off the Tasted Blood, and then it pops off the Reprisal. And then the Vindictive was a new one from TOB that it's not going to really pop off instantly. It's going to give you like a minute and 30. Nice little buff there. So just a nice little addition on that. And then I've got the Bane on here just because the number 2 is filled up. And then just similar to the Epic here, I've got the, this is the, why am I drawing a blank? The vest one here from that old expansion here, which is still a nice viable little boost to DPS that doesn't share a timer with like the normal modern era breastplates. So I got that going there. So yeah, that's that. That's what I go through and spam. Start the fights, attacking, spamming the 2, hit the 3 once or twice at the start of the fight to get all that off. And then go through it and rinse and repeat. Cool. We'll go ahead. We'll cut it off there. We'll see you in the next one.